Hey parents, we're here for our kids life group lesson for May the 3rd. This is the parents primer and we're continuing the journey. Last week they talked about the Pentecost. Now we've kind of skipped ahead a little bit and we're seeing that now Paul and Barnabas are sent out as missionaries. So sort of the church accomplishing its purpose of sharing the gospel and doing missions work and planting churches. So the Bible Meets Life today is that the Bible story your child will learn is that God calls people to go to other places to tell about Jesus. God wants all believers to tell about the good news of Jesus. Paul and Barnabas were two missionaries who God called and the church set apart to spread the gospel. So we're primarily in Acts 13. Now this is a long passage, so depending on the age of your kids, you may want to shorten it. You may just do verses 1 through 12, and that will accomplish the same purpose. The goal is to see them sent out, to see them share the gospel, and people respond to that. So that's one of the, that happens in the first 12 chapters. It goes on. There's more work that's done, but that would be good to start there. The LifeWay Digital Pass platform has videos that you can see. There's not a specific video on YouTube, but there is a video I'll link that has some background on Paul and on Barnabas and their meeting and them getting sent out. So that would be helpful for them to see, and I'll link that. Some discussion questions. Get some background since Paul is just being introduced. What do the kids know about Paul, or Saul, as he was also called? What do they know about Barnabas? Who are these men? Why were they set apart? Where did they go first? Where did they go second? What did they do there when they went to these places? And then what was the result of their preaching? These are all good questions. Remember, we're establishing who, what, where, when, why questions when we discuss it. But the application of this is going to be to focus on missions and sharing the gospel. Now, LifeWay has missions videos on their digital pass. So if you get on the kids section, right where you access the materials, there's videos of missionaries. Wouldn't that be a great way to show your kids what missionaries do and learn about that? So show them one of those videos. Missionaries are traditionally somebody that's sent somewhere. It can be anywhere in the world to share the gospel of Jesus Christ and plant churches. But we also want the kids to understand that missionaries are anyone that's on mission for Jesus. They can be missionaries right where they're at. We need to follow God's call wherever He calls us to, but sometimes He calls us to stay right where we're at and share right where we're at and serve those around us. So encourage your children to think of ways they can share the love of Jesus. They can share the gospel with those around them. Do you have family that doesn't know Jesus? Do you have neighbors that don't know Jesus? Does your family know how to share the gospel? That's a great question too. So that would be something you'd want to talk about. So the application point is that God calls some to go and to be missionaries, to share the gospel and plant churches, but He calls all of us to share the gospel and build up the church where we're at right now. A couple things on your sheet here. The older kids have "let me tell you," and they fill in the blanks from these words down here, and it kind of teaches them about the works that Paul and Barnabas did. And this is what is a missionary. So they fill in the vowels and they get what the purpose of being a missionary. So those are good activities. With the littles, the pre-K, we get what do missionaries do? And we're finding different Bibles and teaching them about the matches. They're matching up the different Bibles. And then just a verse that you can go over with them. Just a good reminder. And then, of course, we have the ever-popular coloring sheet of Paul and Barnabas. I know that our kids like to color those every week. A couple of application ideas. One thing you can do with your kids is share your testimony. I was surprised to know how many kids have never heard their parents' testimony. How did you come to faith in Jesus? A testimony is very simple. It's 3 parts. What was your life before Christ? How did you come to know Christ? And what has he done in your life since then? Now, you don't have to share all the gory details of your life before Christ, but you can let them know that there was sin in your life and you didn't follow God, but this is how I came to know Jesus, and now this is what we try to do. So share your testimony. If there's any believing children, they can share their testimony as well. I'm going to attach the gospel, God's game plan, it's called The Gospel, God's Plan for Me. And that's LifeWay's gospel presentation for kids. I'm going to attach a sheet. Review that with the kids. It's great that they know that, they believe that, but then can they share that with other people in their life? There are also missionary videos, like I mentioned, on the Digital Pass. Watch one of those. Those are great to learn about missionaries. You can see them and pray for them. That's another great activity, is just to pray for missionaries. Find resources at nam.net or imb.org. Those are our missions organizations, International Mission Board and North American Mission Board. And pray for them. Pray for people that you know in your neighborhood. Pray for people that you know around that need to know Jesus. Those are great things. Finally, for maybe the older kids, I'm going to link a interactive map of Paul's journey that you can see the different places, the different cities he went to. And then you can contrast that maybe by pulling up a map of your neighborhood. Show the kids how many houses are near you, how many people that need to know Jesus. Those are great ways to put things in perspective, the historical and then also the present. So I hope these videos have been helpful. I want to be a resource to you. If you have any questions, please let me know. We're kind of our family's kind of getting into a good groove of how we do it and when we do it, and I hope that's happening for you as well. Let me know if you have any questions or problems or issues or concerns that I can help with. Thanks. Have a great day, and I hope you have a great Sunday.